All right. We are here for another episode of the Tempo Show. I'm gonna let the lady of many talents introduce herself.
Hello, my name is Andrea. My Instagram is Andrea K Daniels, so Andreadaniels.
You got it. Don't worry. I'm gonna put it all right here, so everybody got to know, man. Man, you are a woman of many talents. Go into that a little bit more. I seen you like a financial counselor.
Yes, I
That's
am a
important.
financial counselor. Well, I would definitely say a coach more so
Okay.
because in our society nowadays, we all need help with financial needs and just trying to make sure that we are stable. Without culture, we have a lot of debt.
Mm.
We need help to build savings, investments. So I'm the person that, you can come to get that coaching and just trying to uplift yourself so we can become better. And it all started with me leaving school actually and going to start working for a bank. So when I started working for a bank, I didn't know the many revenues that I can, put myself on.
Yeah, I think that's really important. Like I talk all the time about. I think that like credit and financial like counsel like you're talking about that should be taught in like high school. Like I'm talking about in like ninth grade. Like
Right.
I think that's way more important than geometry or fucking what I'm saying, or calculus or anything like that, because
Right.
those math disciplines, you I do get how they kind of expand your mind and allow you to get a deeper sense of certain mathematical equations and things of that nature. But like finance itself is something that everybody's gonna have to deal with immediately,
Right.
like
Right. Right.
immediately. So I think that's incredibly important. When did you start doing that?
Well, I've been in the banking industry for about 4 or 5 years now, but honestly, I just took a keen to it. I want to say a couple months ago,
Mm.
but I just never executed properly. So now I'm just trying to build that platform and just trying to, use the tools and networks that I do have to put that out there for everyone. And I want everyone to know that coaching on financial literacy is important. Like you said, it should definitely start from the household
For
and
sure.
then work its way in the school systems and, people around you as well. So,
Nah, that's absolutely real. That's absolutely real. Like I know when I got even when I got out of high school and went into college, like I got a bunch of credit cards, fucked it all up. You know what I'm saying? Fucked up my
I
credit off
agree.
the buck before I even started. You know what I'm saying? And then once I got out, like I guess you tend to you just like, oh man, it's so overwhelming that you just ignore it. You know what I
Right.
mean? And that's what I was doing. I was doing that with a lot of. I didn't really have that much debt, not much debt from credit cards. And what I did, I think I had like $1,200. And the only reason it was $1,200 because I had one credit card that gave me 500, maxed that out. Then I
Oh,
used another
goodness.
credit card to pay that. You know what I'm saying? And they gave me 300, so I did that and then maxed that. And it was just the combination of doing that and then the penalties that come with it and stuff. So
Right, the interest rates and
absolutely,
like you said,
absolutely,
the penalties. You have to make sure you're in your P's and Q's.
right,
So
right.
that's why I want to put myself out there as a coach so I can get those spreadsheets, give you those calculators, and give you those tools so you can be successful. And even if it takes 20 years, 10 years, 5 years, as
Exactly.
long as you have those tools to become successful and getting yourself out of debt. Because I was in a predicament where I didn't know anything about being financially stable or literate. Like you said, you going to the mall, you blowing a bag a day. Nowadays I'm trying to figure out if the stocks are going up or down, or
Oh,
whether or
okay.
not my savings account is still at 5,000. So I'm trying to worry about stuff like that versus trying to buy a $10,000 purse. So
That's definitely important. And one of the other things that we tend to talk about on this show is like, credit itself is a tool. You know what I'm saying? It's a tool for you to be able to finance the things that you're trying to achieve. And for me, especially when I started this podcast shit, like I was really I knew that I wanted to do it because first thing, I didn't really care about the monetary value. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like I just wanted to put in the work and figure out like, how I can make it just put out the best content available. And
Mhm.
I was thinking to myself cuz I had just bought a car, I was like, well shit, and I'm not like no real flashy car type of person, you know what I'm saying? Like I just looked up car and drivers, Best Buys and shit like that, best
Mhm.
value joint, got that. So I was like, damn, well if I could spend 15,000 on a car, I could spend 15,000 on myself. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Always
Like
invest in yourself. Definitely.
absolutely, because at least you feel better about it at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Like that's
Mhm.
when you really are, putting your money where your mouth is.
Right.
And
Right.
so for me to even be able to do that, like it took me to clean my credit up. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And a lot of times people, well, I could say if in my opinion,
Mhm.
when it comes to credit cards and things of that nature,
Mhm.
you really shouldn't start getting one until you have stable income.
Right.
You know
Right.
that
Right.
you just shouldn't even jump into the max. And there's a lot of like fallacies that certain institutions will tell you. Like they be like, oh yeah, go ahead get a car, and if you pay it on time, that's gonna really affect your credit. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like,
Mhm.
no, that makes no difference. You know what I'm saying? Like you really
Right.
just accumulated a debt. You know what I'm saying? And they don't
Right.
they don't report like the credit card agencies do. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? The credit card agencies are the ones that motherfucking report every 30 days of
Mhm.
whether you're paying you on time and things of that nature. And people think that you could get a cell phone bill and it'll get your credit up. You know what I'm saying? Or a car or anything like that. Nah, the realest joints is actually, I think it's just, what I'm saying, making sure your bank account is straight and
Mhm.
then paying the things that you have on time and not letting things go into collections. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like that shit is absolutely rough, man. I'm telling you. But like once you get it together, like you put yourself in a position to really invest in yourself. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, and shout out Navy Federal, man. I'm telling you, they need to start. They need to start plugging me, man, as much as I be plugging them, man. They need to goddamn sponsor a nigga, because I'm telling you, man, like, motherfuckers be getting Navy Federal, getting the bad checks and cashing those joints and thinking that shit sweet just because they give you the shit same day. I be like, son, don't ruin your Navy Federal, because they going to be the first
Yes.
ones that
Don't
come.
ruin Navy Federal, but
No,
let me
don't.
not speak on banks because
I feel you.
but no, I definitely agree with what you are saying. As far as I just think credit is important. Credit is definitely
Absolutely.
important. You needed to even buy a house. You needed to buy a car. You just need it in our society. So with trying to build build up, I just say keep your credit in tic tac shape.
Yeah, exactly. As much as you really can, and remember, at the
Right.
same time, it's a tool. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So, at the end of the day, when shit happens to it, it's not something to be scared of or
Mhm.
get all up in arms about. It's just work on it slowly as you can. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like people don't understand, or at least I would say, like, because my mom, she's really good with her finance and stuff like that. And you also got to kind of know where your values lie as well. Because for me,
Yeah.
I had to understand that what's important to me isn't necessarily having a 800 credit score. You know what I'm saying? Like what's
Right.
important to me is that I'm doing things that not only contribute to my own, mental and physical well-being, but also to facilitate what it is that I actually care about. You know what I'm saying? And if you really care about money, then you should be all up on your credit. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But for me, like I use credit as a tool. Sometimes my credit score be out the roof. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Right now, it's not as great. You know what I'm saying? But that's because I took a lot of risks. You know what I'm saying? As far as
Mhm.
like investing in myself in the podcast. So
Mhm.
that's really how that goes, man. So what are some of the other things that you be getting into?
Oh wow. What else? I did one that one just a little bit. I like to model. I like
Mm.
to do different choreography as far as dancing is concerned. Um,
How far have you gotten with the choreography and stuff like that?
I just do that on my own time. I
Mm.
mean, I've done it for I've done it before. This was maybe last year ago for a
Mm.
young lady and her song, and she
Mm.
performed, and I danced to her music and whatnot. So that was pretty cool. But other than that, I just do that on my spare time. But I think I'm a woman of many talents. I
Mm.
can do it all. I have grown up on playing like the violin, singing, writing poetry, playing
Mm.
soccer, playing various instruments. So I definitely say I'm very well rounded.
Mm.
But now it's like,
Absolutely.
now that I've grown up, it's like, oh my God, what do you want to do? Where do you want to go? So,
That's really hard, man, as far as figuring out what it is that you want to do. Because, like, one of the biggest things for me was, everybody tends to want to join in what the lane, what lane everybody else is in. You know what I'm saying? Now
right.
all of a sudden everybody do comedy, everybody rap, everybody now it's like everybody does videos and photography and things
Yes.
of that nature and stuff. And it's really hard to figure out what it is that you want to do. But for me, I think the biggest thing that'll really help you is find something that you're slightly good at or that you're really passionate about, and just fucking dig your head into it. And if you have a if you find meaning in just doing the work of it, you know what I'm saying? Not necessarily for the applause. If you out here and you writing for your whatever, like if you just enjoy rapping and writing and that brings you joy, then that's what you should focus on. Try to monetize that. You know what I'm saying? But that's how I figured out certain things. I used to rap too. I used to do a bunch of things. Like I played the bass. I thought I wanted to be in a band. I thought I wanted to do all this go-go shit. But when I thought about it, I was like, what I really enjoyed was just kind of being in front of people. You know what I'm saying? I enjoyed it
Right.
skipping to the front of the line. You know what I'm saying? And having people look at me. You know what I'm saying? As I
Mm-hmm.
walk through the club, like that. So I knew from that, if that's what you're getting pleasure out of, then that's probably not something that you really want to do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? What what you really want to do when you doing the work when ain't nobody looking.
Right.
And you have fun just putting in the work and stuff. So but believe me, I'm 30 years old, so 31. Damn, 31. I just had a birthday September. I'm tripping.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
Happy
yeah,
belated
yeah. Oh,
birthday.
thank you. I appreciate that. So it took me a while. Like it took me till I was 30. You know what I mean? To really figure out what it is. So just kind of stick to. I would just say just kind of stick to maybe some things that you're good at, and just really hone in on it. You know what I mean? And if you can do it without everybody looking, you know what I'm saying, and you can put in that hard work, then that'll be lit. Jeez.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm over here looking at her Instagram. Modeling is obviously your strong suit. She don't. She don't
I
be
really,
playing
I feel
those
like I
games. Look,
really just started doing that.
you look like you should have 100K on your goddamn joint.
Oh
I'm
wow.
telling it's just I'm telling you, it'll just happen overnight like shit. Like that shit's crazy. How long have you really like, kind of invested in like taking these gorgeous pictures? Shout out to your photographer back there. She is
Yes,
not
yes,
a she don't play any games.
yes. But
She doesn't
honestly,
play
I want
any.
to. I do want to give a shout out to my photographer, my significant other, my partner, like my best friend. And the reason why I want to give her a shout out is because when people come in your life, they can either mess it up or they can lift you up.
Right.
And she has been lifting me up. And I definitely want to say thank you to her because all these photos have definitely came from her. So
Yeah, man, I'm
I'm
telling you.
very excited about
She
that.
she know how
So
to she knows how to do it. Like
yeah.
the angles are nice. All that shit is lit. And I'm glad you brought that up because I think that sometimes we, especially with social media, there's this narrative that like the true you really know somebody cares about you when it's like they just give everything to you and expect nothing in return. I think that relationships really are built on like mutual benefit. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like I think that every relationship should have it where I benefit you in some way and you benefit me. So then then the person isn't feeling like, because eventually if somebody's just giving their all for whatever reason, you know what I'm saying? It's it'll be one sided. You know what I'm saying? And any person of any type of intellect is gonna think down the road like, well, how am I'm not really benefiting from it. You know what I'm saying? It's all
Right.
just take. You know what I'm saying? So those relationships that you can develop where you may not be the most organized person in the world. They're organized. They got attitude, but you're more balanced, so you kind of balance each other out. That stuff is really important. It's really important when it comes to that. So I'm you know what I'm saying? I'm glad, man. Shout out to y'all, man. That shit is absolutely sweet, man. All right, let's get into this brand ambassador. Let's get into this brand ambassador. Yeah, I'm scoping your Instagram, man. We gonna talk about it. Tell me a little bit about this brand ambassador thing, man.
So when I think of brand ambassador, I just think of, being out in the community and trying to help other brands. But like you said, it all starts with yourself too. You have to invest in yourself. And one thing I want to say is I want to invest in myself so that way I can be on the road to being that brand ambassador. Don't get me wrong, I've tried and I've tried to, reach out to people and say, hey, is it okay if I do X, Y, and Z, or can we collaborate and whatnot? But like you said, it always starts with yourself and trying to become better and what you want to do so that way you can reach that potential to become.
Oh no, that's absolutely real. And especially with social media, like it's not even about, like, people don't just want to know that. Before, you could just put out, like, especially with music or anything like that, you could just put out an album and that's all people interested in. You know what I'm saying? Like they can just listen to your music and that's all it's about. But I think that now it's like people want to see you in all aspects of your life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They want to know who you are.
Right.
And if they like the person or hate the person that you are, you know what I'm saying, then that builds that attention for you. You know what I'm saying? And so I do think that it's very important though, even when you're, whether you're doing podcasts or you're modeling or whatever the case may be, people want to see like how are you when you're just kind of chilling, walking down the street. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like that's very fucking important, man. So what's been on my mind lately is so me and my sister got into we always get into big ass debates about like certain political issues and things of that nature, and it always gets very, very tenuous, you know what I'm saying? But for me, like, I have my opinion on certain things, and I'm always available to change my mind if certain information is presented to me.
Right.
So all right. If I can kind of dip into politics just a teeny bit. I
love politics. That was my major in college. So
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's absolutely lit. All right. So what do you think about the whole the Kavanaugh situation? I know everybody been digging about that, like as far as obviously he was he just got confirmed to be one of the Supreme Court justices and things of that nature, and they had Dr. Christine Blasey Ford. I might be messing that up. I think that's how you said it. So she accused him of sexual misconduct probably about 30 years ago. You know what I'm saying? And so this has become a part of the whole Me Too movement, where we're trying to bring light to, you know what I'm saying, to obviously the injustices that women have had to deal with when it comes to talking about sexual assault. You know what I mean? Like this culture that seems, or at least that some people believe that has been prevalent, that's been swept under the rug and things of that nature. Man, that shit be getting deep. But I would ask you, so when it comes to, like, let's say the Me Too movement and things of that nature, what's your opinion on just how the movement's going in general? You know what I'm saying? Like do you believe that, well, there's some stigmas, I would say, like where they're talking about we need to bring social light to, obviously, to some of the injustices that go on with women as well. But then there's other themes talking about, like, believe all women and like there needs to be, it's almost like you have to like judge people before you know all the information. I don't know. What's your thoughts on it?
I mean, I think in society now we already judge people.
Yeah,
we just
do.
You go outside and somebody can have dreads. Oh, they don't have a good job. You know what I mean?
That is true.
But they could be making $100K. So honestly, I really try not to judge a book by its cover. And I do understand the movement that's going on. I understand, sexual assault, and it's very prevalent. Like, we should definitely speak about that. But when it comes to certain, like, the time frame, it's like, oh, this happened 30 years ago. Why is it coming up now? It's like, why didn't you speak about it then? Like, why is it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It gets confused. It gets muddy.
Yeah.
It gets real muddy, and I think that, that's really something that we should be focusing on, because it's like, so what are really the statutes of limitation? And I actually kind of changed my mind on it, because I really thought, I did hear some really good points where it was talking about how, at least with the Kavanaugh, this was not a actual this wasn't a actual what do you call it? It wasn't in the justice system. He wasn't convicted. He wasn't being tried. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of the backlash is like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? Like this not fair. How she gonna bring up stuff from 30 years ago?
Right.
So I don't know, like, because I do think that obviously it's because it's not in the court of criminal law that I do think that it is fair. It is fair that people can make their prejudgments. You know what I'm saying? Because
it's fair, but I mean, are we gonna go around society and making prejudgments on anybody? Like, are you gonna judge me?
Right.
Am I gonna judge him? So it's like, I get it. Like, I get it.
We just got to get all the information before we try.
You need the facts. That's what it comes down to. You need the facts before you can say, oh, well, I know he did it. I know she did it, and whatnot. Did he say, she say? Give me the facts. Give me the proof. Give me the paperwork. I want to see evidence. That's when it comes into that.
Absolutely, and I think it's for me. There's this big thing on. I'm all about like responsibility. So I do think that we should. The Me Too movement is good just because like. We do want to make people comfortable with being able to come out with their particular allegations. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I agree.
Because, and I think that, you know, there is a responsibility. You even have a responsibility as a victim for me to get these people, you know, prosecuted. You like start telling on these dudes.
Right.
Because and it goes like people think that like talking about, oh, it's a rape culture, and I'm just like, well, that doesn't motherfucking make sense that it's a rape culture. I don't think that it's a rape culture because number one, all right, so you look at we was debating the statistic the other day. All right, so there were 321,000 sexual assaults reported, right? That's a large number, and that's fucking crazy. That's fucked up, right? Now, but if we're gonna say it's a rape culture, like that means that like our actual culture is like influencing that, and we're saying that it's actually cool. But if you look at it, there's 67 men between the ages of 18 to 35 in the United States. So if you're gonna say that it's a culture, then it needs to be more than 0.004% of men that are, you know what I'm saying, that are coming. So you can double that number, saying, all right, unreported. Let's triple the number. Right. Even if you triple the number, you still ain't even got, you're at like 1% of men. And I think that a lot of men, like one of the backlashes that we get is that sometimes I feel like they're talking to the wrong audience, because at the end of the day, the dudes that are gonna rape, they gonna rape. You know what I'm saying? Like these are fucked up in the head as individuals, and for most of us, like most men, like we don't fuck with rape. We're like even I'm gonna tell you why we don't fuck with rape. Even the murderers in jail fucking be trying to kill motherfuckers who goddamn who started rapists. Like what the fuck? Like, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I think that we should try to be a little bit more balanced when we're discussing these things. But
because these topics are very heated.
It's like you can't even have a position without, oh, well, you just going with the rapist, or like even with like certain parties to be like, oh, well, shit. Like I agree that, you know, a little bit with what Kanye said about like, all right, well, you know, we should all have. You know, we should be we don't have to vote Democrat. You know what I'm saying? We should be able to be free thinkers. Now, that being said, obviously Kanye has lost his fucking mind. You know what I'm saying? Obviously this nigga has lost. He's off his medication, and for people to even look at that nigga like he's an ambassador for black people in the political sphere is crazy. Why would I respect Kanye's opinion on anything that has to do with politics? I don't understand why people get all up in arms. Kanye said this crazy shit, and I'm like, so the fuck what? Like he's a fucking producer. Like what does that mean? Like he has, I don't know. That should be fucking crazy, bro. He done lost his mind. I mean, number one, he wiped up Kim Kardashian, so he lost his mind. And then he get mad. Hey, don't be talking about la da 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 da. Come on, man. You knew what you signed up for. You signed up for all of this. You signed up. You obviously a certain person has that like, and I'm not even saying it's a bad thing that he started dating Kim Kardashian, but at the end of the day, like I wouldn't trip about, oh son, she had a sex tape. I'd be like, son, I know. You know?
Yeah, it's like you going into something that you should already know about. So if somebody speaks about it, it's like, okay, yeah, I know. Okay, cool. Yeah, you should brush it off your shoulder because you already knew what you were getting.
Exactly, but motherfuckers be sensitive as hell, man. Like,
yeah,
that happens in all, I guess, relationships. So all right, so we'll kind of go back to the relationships. How long have you and your lady been together?
Well, we've been together for a year, but we've known each other for a while. So,
Mm.
for like 4 years, we've known each other.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. How did y'all decide that, like, all right, we gonna do this. We gonna make this work. Look at her. She got a smile in the background. I'm putting you on the spot.
I just it just happened. Like it just happened. Like it really just happened. But
Naturally just hanging out and enjoying each other's company, things of that nature. And you're like, and you
yeah.
know what? Let's just go ahead and make this official. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's real.
Yeah.
Nah, that's really fucking beautiful, man. I'm all for positivity and progression. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So that's why I always I try to have people on the show that are working, that are invested in themselves and on a positive light,
Yeah.
because I think that there's so much, because I think because humans we're prone to negativity. Like, we have this, like, I don't know, we can't, it's like a drug. Like, it's like something negative happens, a fight, somebody talking shit, it's like you want to hear it. Like, even myself, like, sometimes when motherfuckers got the tea, you know what I'm saying, you be
You
like,
ready for the
what?
tea? You ready?
Every time motherfuckers is like, oh my goodness, man. Like, this is what goes a singer, man. She always be hitting me up talking about some, hey, I got the tea for you. I'll be like, well, shit, let me go ahead and grab my coffee. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I want to hear all of this. But, with that being said, it's still, we have this, like, this affinity for negativity. And I think we
Yeah.
need to really start promoting, just positive
Positive
outcome,
lights. Yeah.
positive outcomes. Because you'll have, like, and this is how you could try to tell people's intentions, because I think that that's one of the biggest parts of life that seems to be difficult for us, is trying to figure out what people's true intentions are. You know what I'm saying? That's hard. It's hard as fuck. You know what I'm saying? But the way I go about it is, you know, if a person is presenting, positivity, and their perspective is coming from a positive place, then I can fuck with that. But, like, if you know what I'm saying, if you're coming from a negative place, then I don't care whether I agree with you or not. Like, I could tell what your intentions are.
Right.
For example, you got all right. So it's this dude on Instagram. What's his name? Darren Jackson or something like that. I don't know how you say it. So he's one of the guys that, like, he always is talking about. He claims he's trying to promote positivity and men treating women a certain way, but the way that he goes about it is he just bashes them. Like, he just bashes men all together. Like, see, you need to get your shit together because you probably ain't even got no goddamn house, and you living off the, like, you know what I'm saying? And, like, that's his whole shtick. You know what I'm saying? Every time he posts a video, and so that's how for me, that tells me that, that shows me what your real intentions are. And, like, those type of people are manipulative, because what they do is they play on your emotions in order to try to get you on their side. So it's like, you're not coming from a place where it's like, hey, look, black men, we I know we struggling, and I know we have these faults, but these are ways in which we can get better. You just attack. You know what I'm saying? You attack those points that you know for a fact people who are emotionally invested, right? Women that have been hurt, you know what I'm saying? Or, you know what I'm saying, men that feel a certain type of way of the things that they've done. They gonna look at the joints and be like, yeah, man, because they fucked up. Like, shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And I think that shit whack, man. That shit's super fucking whack.
Whack.
You know what I'm saying? Because the only thing you're gonna do is you're not, people always try to fucking say that, oh, I'm just trying to spark the conversation. No, you're not. You're not trying to spark the conversation, bruh. You're not, because sparking a conversation, like if I was trying to give you constructive criticism, right? The way I would try to do that is by saying, like, usually you kind of start out with some positive words of encouragement or things like that. Like, be like, oh man, like, your pictures on Instagram, like, they're really, really nice, but I think you can go in this particular direction or something like that, right? But if I came at you and was like, yeah, yo, this shit whack. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at this, like, right. But you would know you know what I'm saying? Like, and so it'd be like, look at this shit right here. Look at this picture right here, man. Look, your baby here all doing this, and that. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck out of here. Like you would know for a fact that I'm not real live. I'm not coming from a place of trying to give constructive criticism.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you have to earn that. right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? For me, it's like you need to give me some type of encouragement so that I know at least your opinion is balanced. It's
Right.
not biased and shit like that. I don't
And I
know.
think we all need encourage and words of encouragement,
We
like you
do.
said,
We do.
because if you always keep shooting someone down, they're always gonna embrace that down. It's like, oh, I'm dumb, or oh, these pictures are weird. Like, so they're gonna
Exactly.
commit that to memory. And when I was growing up, especially in Southeast, it was like people always
Southeast.
bashing
Southeast.
one another. So it was just
Mm-hmm.
like always came out to the guns, the violence, and whatnot. But coming from out of Southeast and just embracing myself with like positivity, like you said, it
Mm-hmm.
has really uplifted me because I was told words of negativity and not
Yeah, me
good
too.
feedback and whatnot. So sometimes when people would say, oh, your teeth or your this, it would hurt me. But I've had, others that come into my life now that say, oh, you're beautiful as you are. Let's do this. Or you should smile more. And now I feel a lot better. I can be a lot more confident. So,
Mm-hmm.
like you said, I think we should do more positive feedback with one another and give better constructive criticism, because it's not
Exactly.
trying to say you're downplaying someone, but it's
Right.
always, you can always room for improvement.
Absolutely. Even with family, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of
Yeah.
times, like people, some like the people that could kind of hurt us the most is the people that that are around us all the time, and that's usually family. You know what I'm saying? And it's like I've dealt with that as well with like families. I'm sure everybody does. It's like in order for somebody to be able to take constructive criticism, you have to build a level of trust, right? And
Mhm.
so for me to trust what you're saying, you have to have you can't you it has to be balanced. You can't just always tell me what I'm doing wrong.
Yeah.
You have to also tell me what I'm doing right. And sometimes people think that like, oh, I'm just speaking the facts. All right, number one, there's an infinite amount of facts out there. So that right
Right.
there is bullshit. But if unless you are an evil fucking piece of shit, then if I don't tell you some of the good things that you're doing, you know what I'm saying? Then I'm not fully given the great scope of what it is, what type of person that you are. So
Right.
if I constantly just criticize you and say, well, you didn't do this right or you didn't do that right, you know what I'm saying, without talking about the things that you did well,
Mhm.
we can't develop a trust of I should really believe what you're saying. Especially like at the end of the day, it's like so only two things are gonna come from that. Either I'm gonna believe what you're saying and I'm gonna be like, all right, maybe I am fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I
Right.
am just all these things and maybe all I do is fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to not take what you're saying seriously, which is, for me, that's what it does. And a lot of times if you are giving some good criticism, like I'm not going to be able to receive it.
Right.
Because if you don't never uplift me, then how the hell am I
How
going
will
to
I
judge?
know or acknowledge when right is right or wrong is wrong sometimes?
That shit
So,
real, man. That shit real. So what part of Southeast you came from?
woo!
I mean, you ain't got to tell me the street
Martin,
number.
no, I grew up over there on Martin Luther King, so everybody used to call it MLK.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
That's lit. I was out there right there on W Street. You know what I'm saying? Right there where
Oh,
Uniontown used to be at.
I
Yeah,
definitely
right
know
by.
what that's
Yeah,
at. My
right.
grandmother owned a house over there. So
Yeah,
yeah.
man. Yeah. She don't got it no more.
No, she doesn't have it no more.
Oh, okay, okay. Damn, motherfuckers need to hold them houses, bruh. Need to hold them joints, cause I'm telling you, as the gentrification is coming through, that joint gonna be worth something, especially in that area. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, white people they already bought up shit, and they walking their dogs. They don't give two shits about what you talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't give two shits. You know what I'm saying? So that shit is absolutely important. Like,
And they're
shit,
building up over there actually, so
a lot,
yeah.
a lot. That shit is real. God damn, man. So what you went to Anacostia?
No, I did not. I went to elementary school, I went to MLK.
Uh huh.
Then middle school, I went to KIP.
Ah.
Then high school, I went to Thurgood Marshall, which was right by Anacostia Station.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's right there. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right there by the side. How did you like that experience?
I actually love all of my schools. I love all the experience. I love that I had the opportunity to go many places that, other people could not have went or didn't have the opportunity. Let me say that part. They
Mm-hmm.
didn't have the opportunity. So I just really had opportunities going to those schools and, having those teachers that actually care. I had
Mm.
counselors. I had teachers that would say, okay, look, I know you can't go to the station at this time. I'll take you home. So it was just a blessing to be around
Shout out
that,
Thurgood Marshall.
the culture over there. So I definitely give them a shout out. And till this day, they're always checking on me and emailing me. And so it's definitely a great feeling.
Oh, that is beautiful. Like my aunt, she was a teacher in DC. Like I think she taught at Eastern for most of her career, but
Oh,
she's been a teacher for like 20 something years, and I could tell you like there are there are a lot of good teachers out there. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Because she be the type. She used to have little hosting little not hosting, but she was like in charge of like the high school like little fashion group or something like that. You know what they do? Used to do
The
little
little
model
fashion
stuff.
shows and stuff.
Right, right.
Yeah.
She was real deep in that. She also she's a scientist as well. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
So
wow, that's amazing.
yeah. So she develops a lot of robotics programs and stuff like that, and she would partner with Dr. Bemley, and they would go around to local kids and basically teach them some of the basics of the robotics program and shit like that. So there are a lot of good teachers out there, man. Like I was in the program for a little bit, but good God, that shit is boring, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, like we were saying earlier, you gotta
Woo.
find what your niche is and stick to
That shit
that.
real, cause like motherfuckers don't understand like when they say like what they talk about like a lot of times they're not enough women in tech, and for certain things, you know I can understand why there's not a lot of women in tech, because at the end of the day that shit is boring as fuck. Just keep it like really. People think that like, this making computer shit, all you see right here and on your phone, like it's all cool graphics and all of that. Half of the time, it's them writing code, lines and lines
Yeah.
and lines and lines of computer code, and analyzing it and fucking going over it. And I was like, Jesus Christ, man, who the fuck is interested in that shit, man? I'm telling you, man, that shit is beautiful, man. Like that
It's
shit
beautiful and boring all at the same
at all at
time.
the same time. That's why one of the things that as I started, I'm kind of big on history. I would have majored in history if I felt like it was going to do anything, like as far
Right.
as with money. But shit, I got my degree in public relations and I drive buses for Metro now. You know what I'm saying? So, like that shit, like I might as well have majored in history. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I was interested in. But the more that I learn, the more that I understand that there's a lot that I just really don't know, and most things I really know on a very simple 2-dimensional level.
Right.
And that's why I feel like it's important for us to understand that you, even though you have an opinion, don't think that you're just 100% right all the time,
Right.
especially because it's like at the end of the day, some of the people that we revere, like neuroscientists, and think the way that these real PhD and people that really invested their whole life in the study and the discipline, they'll even tell you like, look, this is what we kind of know. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? So people shouldn't just be so like quick to think that they just know everything. Like
Right.
one of the biggest examples, this is dude Eric Weinstein. He's a mathematician, one of the highest rated ones, and so he'll tell you like, you really think that you I'm paraphrasing, but he was like, you really think that you know everything. Like, how does your phone work? You know what I'm saying? Like literally. Like could you tell me how your fucking phone works? Nobody can. Like not nobody can, but like 0.0000% of the population, because it's quantum physics. You know what I'm saying? It's literally quantum physics how your actual
Your
phone
device
works.
works. Right.
So it's like, you know what I'm saying? So just understanding that should humble you to a certain degree, whether it's like, don't just think that whatever you got going on is whatever you've fixed your mind to believe is 100% the truth.
Correct. Right.
So you know what I'm saying? I just think that like we should be a little bit balanced in that area. So all right, so the way we met was at shout out to Bliss House.
Shout out to Bliss House.
Shout out to Bliss House. And that they definitely got something going on over there. I really like how they just have a variety of things going on. You know what I'm saying? Like
it's
it was real cool. Like you talked about, you had the live performances, and then you know what I'm saying, you had people painting, body painting. Artists came up there, was displaying their artwork.
Right.
Photographers, you know what I'm saying, people selling oils and other natural aesthetics and things of that nature. I just thought it was real lit. How'd you get introduced to Bliss House?
So a mutual friend introduced us to the Bliss House. She told us to come out and whatnot because she actually does, her little thrifting store.
Oh, okay.
So,
Who was it? Like the thrifting store? Like what was she doing?
Pink Autumn.
Oh, okay. I know what
Yeah.
you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So that's how, she actually brought us out to, get us exposed to, the different people that were there and whatnot. So it was a blessing to be amongst everyone, honestly. We don't really have too many functions where we can meet and greet and, just listen to different music, see different artwork and, indulge in the other amenities that that are out
Yeah,
there.
that people are interested. I really like the way that basically in this generation, and I think it's very important. Like the jobs that are going to be available, that are available right now, 65% of the jobs, and that's in transportation, that's in retail, and that's in food. All these jobs are going to be obsolete in roughly about 20, 30 years. You know what I'm saying? It's all going to innovation and automation. You know what I'm saying? So it's really important for us to start establishing these private businesses and these on and going into entrepreneurship. And so
Yeah.
so events like that promote people doing that, I think is real important because I have a daughter. She's 8 years old, and one of the biggest things for me is that I feel like high school and college essentially, but no, I would just say high school didn't really prepare me for it doesn't prepare you for trying to be successful in today's time. You know what
Right,
I'm saying?
right.
Like we're focusing on fucking like you focusing on like biology and whatever the fuck else, you know what I'm saying, and trigonometry or whatever you're doing, but geometry, whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? And one of the biggest things is that like what's going to make you money is really either going into business for yourself in a field that'll be relevant and picking up trades. You know what I'm saying? And they don't even offer those at the same level as they used to.
Right.
So that's why you find that motherfuckers, you be like, damn, motherfuckers with a college degree, we coming out, we having $80,000 in debt and things of that nature just to pay for school, and then we coming out only being offered a $50,000 a year job, if that.
Yeah.
And then you see people with trades, right? Motherfuckers who be plumbers, like dudes that do elevator, escalator. That motherfuckers that do elevator, escalator, they make $50 an hour. That's fucking insane.
Right.
Right. And it's basically because like there aren't a lot of people who have invested themselves in that particular trade. It's bus drivers out here that make you be in Metro for 5 years and you can make 100K. You gonna make
Yeah.
75
You
off the base.
can.
You know what I'm saying? So we really should start preparing ourselves and preparing our children in the next generation for
What's coming
entrepreneurship.
up next?
Because these
Yeah.
jobs, even the jobs that we have now, like these joints are not going to be
To be
available.
And that's how I feel when it comes to my job. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I said being a financial coach and just reading up on that, it's going to make sense when there is no banking and you have robots and everybody else doing it for you.
Right,
So
right, right.
you got to start now.
That shit is absolutely true. I know one of the biggest things is I really thought cryptocurrency was going to be the next wave with the blockchain system, and
Oh,
so
yeah.
that joint, like my man, he bought a couple of bitcoins back when they were like $600. Now he cashed out, thank goodness. Like what, last year? You know what I'm saying? So you talking about two bitcoins that you bought for $600, and now they're at the time last year they were worth 17,000 per. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but that obviously is going to be the new wave of currency. You know what I'm saying? And so it's definitely going to be important that we start preparing ourselves for the future. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
Because motherfuckers is going to get left behind, man. I'm telling you. You know
But
what
I
I'm
feel
saying?
like we have to come together in order for us to
I
get to the
agree.
future. I feel like we're so apart or no one wants to really help anyone. Not saying that, you're going to steal someone's idea, but just giving that helpful hint or that idea
Right,
and
right, right.
whatnot, I still feel like we will be lost if we don't help one another.
Absolutely. I mean, like, and for me, like, people talk about the crabs in the barrel mentality, and I'm kind of torn on it because I do see that. I see that happening with like people that will real life try to make it, and then they'll shut other people off and won't necessarily, contribute. You know what I'm saying, to the overall community. But for me, I would say that, like, for me, it hasn't been that experience, and I think one of the reasons why is that, we should help each other, right? But and that's absolutely a fact. But it also makes a real difference as far as you have to put in the work yourself first. You have to realize, show people, like, everybody isn't obligated to help you out. Really, nobody is.
Right.
But they're really not going to help you out unless you show them that you're already invested in yourself. So it's like for me, it was like, that's one of the things I knew I had to do when I first started this podcast. I was like, all right, well, I got to be legit. I can't motherfucker just come in this joint and tell my man to hold the camera phone and we both talk. You know what I'm saying? We talking on my couch. Like, nobody going to respect that. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to make sure, and also, like, with number one, paying for fucking studio time to do podcasts. You talking about that should be like $300 a pop. You know what I'm saying? $300 every joint. So I'm like, I need to just get everything that I need. You know what I'm saying? Get my own space and do whatever exactly. So I can do it whenever I feel like it. Right, you know what I'm saying? Right. Like, when I feel like doing a podcast,
I'm gonna do a podcast.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And that's to me, that's really important. People have to see that you're doing work. So, first dude I had on was David Banner. You know what I'm saying? Not David Banner, the rapper. Banner, he's an Instagram comedian, real popular dude from Vine and now the IG. And through him, I came at him off the humble, and I was just lucky to meet him just because off the strength that I reached out and he just reached out back. That's just the type of good dude that you get. Like,
I like when people do that though, and then
it's so few and far between though. It's hard to find. It's so tough, man. And I tell you, like, but through him, he linked me with Loso. You know what I'm saying? So then he, like, I'm talking about that same day. You know what I'm saying? Like, not that same day, but that same week. I told him I was gonna go ahead and do some the video for his comedy show, and then he had FaceTime me with Loso and shit. So Loso he also another big 50K whatever Instagram comedian and shit, and he played for TOB, surprisingly. You know what I'm saying? And so he FaceTimed me with him, like, yeah, you need to come on my man's show and shit. And so me through him, that's when I met Chris from TOB. You know what I'm saying? And then through all these other ones, that's how
network, just
right,
networking.
And I think the biggest thing is just because they seen that I was working hard and I wasn't on the bullshit, so you have a much higher chance of people respecting what it is that you do. So don't think that it's crabs in a barrel if you don't have nothing to bring to the table, or people can't really see what you're doing and working hard. It starts with you first. You know what I'm saying? So that joint is absolutely lit. So out of the you got the financial counselor, you doing the choreography, you know what I'm saying, you dipping and dabbing in the branding. Like, what's the next step for Miss Andrea? Like, what's the next thing that you really are gonna focus on?
My next step really to focus on is really doing the financial coaching, honestly. When I'm at work, I'm always on a computer, just looking at different websites, reading up on the literature, like I said.
You still work at the bank? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. That's
right. Even still talking to the investment people that I know, the premier bankers that I know, just to try to get more insight. I bring my book and I write down the notes, so that way when I'm able to be creative with my website and everything, that, everything is to a T. So I just want to get the information. Not saying that over the course of the 4 or 5 years that I've been in banking, that I don't know the information, but I just want to make sure that everything is executed properly. So I don't want to put a time frame on when, but I know that financial coaching will definitely be my strong suit, because, like I said, I just want to help the youth out. I want to help my culture. I'm all for my culture. I'm all for the youth and trying to elevate the next. So that will definitely be something that is in the work. So I'm looking forward to pursuing that.
That's gonna be lit. That's gonna once you become the big DMV financial counselor and stuff like that, you make sure you come right back on here. You know what I'm saying? Don't forget about me. I'm gonna bring you right on back. But,
I'm not.
We in the works though. We trying to close a deal with a studio. So it's you might see it on the Instagram. Shout out Toriani Studios and shit. So that might be the next step and shit. So we'll see how the math works on it. You know what I'm saying?
Speaking into existence.
Absolutely.
So
they got a good
happen.
owner. They got a good owner. So it's gonna be absolutely lit. You know what I'm saying? That shit is gonna be sweet. Shout out to your photographer, your
Yeah,
your
shout out to what's grit.
your exactly, you know what I'm saying, the other half, you know what I'm saying? Like she seems like she's quiet, you know what I mean? But that's definitely lit, you know what I'm saying? Like look, she is not nobody's fucking chump out this motherfucker. She knows when it comes to this photography shit, you just go ahead and look at Shawty page. All right? If you telling me that Shawty shouldn't have 50K right now, I'm telling you. You know what I'm saying? Like you show up on Love and Hip Hop one time, that's it. Yeah. One time,
I
bro.
know, right?
That's
One time is all you
that's gonna
need.
be lit, man. And I think it's real important that we realize we get on this DMV wave because I see so much talent out here. And
Yeah,
that
it's
people don't really
ridiculous.
realize. We also are like the mecca when it comes to a lot of these motherfuckers, like a lot of these disciplines you talk, whether it comes to acting and comedy for sure. You know what I'm saying? Martin Lawrence, Dave Chappelle, like what's his name? That be Ashley Larry. I forgot his name. Donald Rollins. You know what I'm saying? Like all these dudes from around here. Like and I think one of the biggest things that I that I had a little bit issue with is that motherfuckers like they be from DC. You know what I'm saying? And they go out and they move. They move around and all of this other stuff. And people don't even know they from DC. I had no idea
Yeah.
Martin Lawrence was from Fort Washington until last year. You know what I'm saying? Like we need to start throwing it up. You know what I'm saying? We need
Yeah,
to
rap where you came from. I mean, it's
exactly.
not a bad thing for me. I don't think it's a bad thing from being from Southeast, honestly. Yeah, I done moved. I'm out
Why would
there.
it? Exactly.
But
Why
at
would
the
it?
end of the day, it has taught me so much, and that's why for me, I want to be so invested in my community, my culture, because when it comes to like I said, financial literature, I want them to know, like, I came from Southeast, and I want y'all to be good.
All right, that's
So,
lit. That's lit. Final question. What's your credit score? It's like, nah, I'm
woo!
fucking with you. I'm fucking with you.
That was a good
Right.
question.
Nah, I'm fucking with you. I'm fucking with you. You gonna throw it out? I might as well ask for your Social Security number
I
next.
know, right?
That shit crazy. You know what's funny? Y'all remember this? It was this little commercial with the dude with LifeLock, the first commercials from like 10 years ago, right? And so he was on the joint saying, my motherfucker, my Social Security LifeLock is so safe that I tell you my Social Security number right here. Dot 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 dot. He had it on the commercial. This man got his goddamn identity stolen 50 something times. Like 50 times. So, I don't give a fuck what nobody talk about, bro. Don't be throwing that shit out there, bro. Protect that shit, bro.
Yeah.
That shit motherfucking funny as shit, bro. Like I'm telling you, like it's a little documentary that's on Netflix called Explained, right? So it goes into basically some of the real details and history of particular subjects that everybody that people have like kind of false ideas about, right? So and I just talk about it just because it interests the fuck out of me. Like, all right, so they talked to some of the leading scientists when it comes to marijuana. So people be like, all right, well, when people talk about, all right, it's Afghan Kush, it's such, you know what I'm saying, it's blueberry yum yum, whatever the fuck you gonna say, right? The scientists are saying, all right, so marijuana has been cloned and genetically engineered so much that even the scientists have you can't tell the difference between any other marijuana. You really can only tell the difference between the THC content, but you really can't tell the difference of where it's Afghan Kush and all that other stuff. So that's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like motherfuckers don't like. So when a dude telling you he just bullshitting. You know what I'm saying? And it was another one in particular. It just blew my fucking mind. So it talks about some of the institutions of marriage, right? And so it said that number one, up until roughly about, they said maybe like the late 1800s, marriage wasn't about two people loving each other and coming into a union. Marriage was a business financial contract between two families, and that's how it started out. Humans for the I would say 99% of the time that we've been on Earth, we've been polyamorous. You know what I'm saying? Where it was like everybody talked to anybody. You know what I'm saying? It was just, and the whole idea was like, you would have a tribe or a community, and it would be like, all right, so whose kid is it? You know what I'm saying? Nobody would know whose kid. There wasn't no DNA test, but it would just be everybody's kid. You know what I'm saying? Like it was that community, so it don't matter whose kid it was. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of brings up, it goes kind of into what we think about as far as monogamy, because why that's a big question, because it's like if we all generally agree, which most people do, generally agree that monogamy is the way to go, then why do we struggle with this so much as a people? Why do we struggle with talking to one person and like it should be stamped, right? If because everybody's in agreement. You get with somebody, you marry somebody, then what's the problem? And so when you look at the history of it, it really brings up some questions on really how monogamy is, it almost is like a social construct in a sense, because it wasn't something that we originally done, and it's a fairly new idea. And so we're kind of, maybe that's one of the reasons why we're struggling with it. That doesn't mean like it's a bad thing, or maybe maybe we've evolved, you know what I'm saying, and this is just the process that we're getting to evolve. But like it brings up some very interesting questions. So that's why I just say like that's one of those, I'm telling you, like I've been binge watch all of them, and I just watch them all over again. So I tell everybody, watch Explain. Yeah, it'll blow your mind.
Into that.
Yeah,
Okay.
it'll blow your
Explain.
motherfucking. Yeah, definitely check that out, man. All right, so damn, man, I don't ran out of goddamn questions, man. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about? No, she good. All right.
I feel like we done covered it all, from politics to what I do to what you do, high school.
Exactly.
I think we done covered it all.
Man, we almost all, you know what I'm saying? We ain't had your photographer come sit right here. You know what I'm saying? Tell her, I really wanted to see, I'm looking at her face when we talk. I was like, so yeah. Nah, I'm messing with you, man. But I want to thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having
plug
me.
it out, man. What you got going on? What you want people to look out for?
I just want people to look out for me just coming out with being the financial coach, like just helping them with financial literacy and whatnot. So definitely check me out, Andrea K Daniels. That is my Instagram. So at ANDREA KDANIELS, and just hit me up and I'll give you some coaching. It's not to say that I don't know anything, so just hit me up.
Definitely hit her up, man. I'm telling you, if you need financial coaching, check that joint out. If you want to look at some pretty pictures,
check that joint out.
Exactly.
Like, follow away.
I'm telling you, you think I ain't see this motherfucking Maserati in the back of the, what I'm saying? Well, check this out. That was a nice pitch too. But yeah, thank you for coming on, man. This was another episode of the Tempo Show, man. DMV Speaks. We gonna holler at you. Hey.